Hello young explorers. Our today's topic, as you can see, is about telescopes, observing night sky with the help of telescope. We are observing night sky with the help of telescopes since some hundreds of years. The first telescope pointed towards sky or celestial body was in 1609 by Galileo. He used a ready-made instrument which he named after telescope was developed by Lippershey, Hans Lippershey. He was a lens maker, kept two lenses in front of one another in a pipe, and what he found was the objects are at distance looking closer. He also filed a patent for his design and started selling in fairs. Galileo came to know about this. He modified that instrument and became the first person ever in the mankind history to observe a celestial body, and the obviously first object he pointed telescope was moon, and he saw craters and mountains on the moon. By that time we were just observing the celestial bodies with the naked eyes. No instrument was used to observe these celestial bodies before that. Galileo opened a window to universe, and then we started observing planets, their surface features. Galileo also found that Jupiter is not a only planet, but it also has a moon satellite system, and he observed 4 satellites of Jupiter, which we today know: Io, Europa, Callisto and Ganymede are identified as Jovian or Galilean satellites. So Galileo started this thing. After Galileo, there were many people, including Newton. Newton developed another type of telescope. So the Galileo developed telescope was a refractor kind of telescope, where you have a lens as an object lens and you observe through a eyepiece. Basically, it is totally made up of lenses, and this kind of telescope is called as refractor telescope, in which primary lens is also a lens. Primary, what you can say, suppose this is a telescope pipe, the front piece is also a lens, and you observe from the back side using a eyepiece. That kind of telescope is identified or known as refractor kind of telescope, where light rays enters into the lenses through the lenses. Because light rays coming from the distant object, we say those rays are parallel to each other, and once those rays pass through the convex lens, they meet at one point and you get an image, and you observe that image through eyepiece, normally which is inverted. So that is about refractor telescope. But in our today's session we will see more about the different types of the mounts. So here I have one example of reflector telescope. Reflector means which has a mirror inside. So if you see this telescope from front side, what you have is this a open pipe is here, and here you actually have a mirror. So this is called as a primary mirror, and it's a concave mirror. So light rays falling on that mirror gets reflected from the mirror, and here there is a secondary mirror in front of this, kept at 45 degree. So when light rays are hitting the mirror on a concave surface, they again come back. So you collect them on secondary mirror, which is a plane mirror kept at 45 degree angle, and those rays are reflected from this thing. And here you keep a eyepiece and observe a object. So just I will show you how to keep the eyepiece. So here you will keep the eyepiece, and using this focusing knob, you will take it front or back so that you can focus the object. So this is about the reflector working, how reflector telescope works. And this is basically to point the object. So you see through here, take object in the field of view here, and then when you observe through this, you So first of all, you have to point this towards any object which you are looking at. Then the same object will be here in this field of view, and using focusing knob, you will observe the object where you will get a sharp image. But normally telescopes comes with some specifications. So what kind of main specifications are there? The first is aperture. Aperture means the diameter of a mirror or lens. So here, if you see any telescope, you will find something is written here. For example, on this telescope, what is written? I will read out for you. It is written diameter 76 mm and focal length 700 mm. It means the diameter of this mirror is 76 millimeter and focal length is 700 millimeter, where you get an object, image form. So two things are important, and third thing is magnification. So magnification comes in combination with the eyepiece. So you know the focal length is 700 mm, and if you are using an eyepiece of say 20 mm, so when you put eyepiece of 20 mm and see through this, what magnification you get? There is a simple formula. The focal length of a telescope divided by focal length of an eyepiece. So 700 by 20 is equal to 35. So you will get 35x magnification through this. But if you use say 10 mm eyepiece, so when you put 10 mm eyepiece, what will happen? 700 by 10 is equal to 70x. So magnification increases. Magnification increases. So here when you are using 20 mm eyepiece, the field of view was bigger and object was smaller. But when you use 10 mm eyepiece, the field of view reduces and object magnifies. So this is how we use this eyepiece in combination with the focal length, because focal length remains the same. What you can change is the eyepiece. So your magnification changes. So this is how the magnification of a telescope can be increased or decreased using different eyepieces. Now we will see about the mount of a telescope. If you see any telescope, so we have kept this telescope on these three legs, they are called as tripod. The actual mount starts from here, which is above the tripod. Now this is an example of alt-azimuth mount. There are basically two types of mounts, alt-azimuth and equatorial mount. Of course there is Dobsonian mount, but again Dobsonian is a type of alt-azimuth mount. So what is alt-azimuth? All we have studied earlier in earlier sessions, what is altitude, what is azimuth, how to find a star in the sky, about the celestial sphere, but let us revise shortly. So if I have any star in the sky, how to find that star? There are two methods. If alt-azimuth, altitude and azimuth points are given to you, you have to find out that star without looking at the sky. You will just adjust your instrument, and if you are okay, that star or that planet or whatever will be the celestial object should come into your eyepiece field of view. So if you're told that you have a celestial object having azimuth 70 degree and altitude 25 degree, how to find that object? So remember, azimuth 70 and altitude 25. So your first job is to set up this telescope in such a way that your tube is pointing towards the north direction. So for that you can use your magnetic compass as well. So in this position, now it is horizontal, pointing towards the horizon of a north direction. So now from north, the azimuth, first of all we will take a azimuth. So azimuth is 70 degree. So from north you will start going towards the east. So you will go to the 70 degree. So for that you may need a protractor kind of thing to get the 70 degree. So this is your azimuth direction. Then your altitude is 25 degree. So again here, so for azimuth you will now come to know that this direction, horizontal movement, is for azimuth. So starting from north direction, as you go eastward, it is in increasing order. So from 0 is the north, east will be 90 degree, west will be from north, east will be 90, south will be 180, west will be 270. So as this will be your azimuth. Now in our example 70 degree azimuth from north, so 70 you have reached. Now you have to go to the 25 degree altitude. So here it's a horizon is 0 degree. So 25 degree means you will go approximately in this height. So in this position we have reached 70 degree azimuth. We will go to the 25 degree altitude. So we have basically two movements in this alt-azimuth mount, altitude and azimuth. So you have this horizontal movement and you have this vertical movement. So vertical means going altitude. So there are these two movements. So if I place this telescope in this way, now you tell me this telescope is pointing towards what? Which point? Is it pointing North Pole star? Definitely not. The point which that telescope is aiming right now is called as a zenith. The part of a sky right above your head from 90 degree from the horizon. So this telescope is pointing towards the zenith right now. So if you have to point towards a pole star, you have to go to the north side, north sky, and from your location, whichever is your latitude will be that. Suppose you are living on 20 degree north latitude. So this angle from the horizon will be 20 degree where you will find a pole star in your field of view. So from here you can aim it and from here you can focus it from this field of view from this. So, but as this type of mount is very simple to use, very simple, it is called as a beginner's mount because it's very simple to aim the object and see. What are the disadvantage? Disadvantage is sky is rotating. Why sky is rotating? Because we are rotating. You are sitting on an earth which is moving around its axis. At the same time it is moving around the sun. So all the stars and celestial bodies appears to move from east to west. So when you see any object and keep observing through this eyepiece for say 1 minute, after 1 minute you will find that object is going out of the field, going towards edge, and after 10 minutes you will see nothing in the eyepiece. So at that time, to take that object again in the field of view, you have to adjust two ways. Two adjustment you have to do. The first of all, you have to raise the height and the azimuth. So when object is moving, actually literally in azimuth, disadvantage of alt-azimuth mount, you cannot track the object. So every time you have to go like this. So you will go azimuth and altitude, azimuth and altitude, azimuth and altitude, because you cannot go directly from one point to another point. So to reach from this point to this point, because star is moving, so if you consider this as a pole star, stars are moving in circular manner. So if star moves from this place to this place, you cannot move that your telescope in circular way. So for that, from this point to this point, you have to take telescope azimuth and altitude, azimuth and altitude. So this way always you have to track the object, which becomes a little bit difficult all the time, because you cannot track the object and also you cannot do the photography using such kind of telescope. But remember, this is very simple mount to use worldwide, and as I said earlier, it's a beginner's mount. Definitely there are more advantage. At the same time, I told you one disadvantage of the alt-azimuth mount. So now we will see one more type of mount, that is equatorial mount. Hello everyone. Now what you see is a telescope with EQ mount or equatorial mount. Previously we saw a telescope with alt-azimuth mount where you have two moments, altitude and azimuth. But when you have to track any object, like if you see sun rises in the east and sets in the west, but not all stars or all planets travel from one horizon to complete horizon crossing the zenith. So how actually these star movements are happening? If you recollect, we have discussed this in star movement session, that wherever you are living, the pole star is if you are living in northern sky, the pole star is at an altitude of your latitude. So if you are living at say 20-degree latitude, it means that you will find a pole star in northern hemisphere at an angle of 20 degree from the horizon if you look towards the north direction. So what is that? That is actually a Earth's axis. Definitely that is an imaginary axis that all we know. That line passing through South Pole and North Pole, if you extend the line, you will meet a star there, and that star is called as a pole star in northern hemisphere. We don't have any such star in the southern hemisphere on the imaginary line. So when you look at the pole star, what exactly is happening? If that is a pole star, all sky will look revolving around the pole star. So if you are standing on the north pole, right on the north pole, 90-degree north, on the top of the earth, you will see pole star on your right hand, that is on the zenith. And all sky will revolve like this. Nothing will rise in the east and sets in the west. That keeping that star at the center, sky will revolve around the pole star. Similarly, as you come down, pole star remains there, but sky starts rotating in this way. So there are certain stars which are not visible, and some stars are always visible around the pole star. They are called as circumpolar stars. So when you look at the north or when you look at any direction, star or planet rises from one horizon, travels in the sky and sets in the west. So if something rises in the east and sets in the west, so that object will travel throughout the night and it will cover the complete path of 180 degree. But as you move towards north from east and west, so as you go closer, the objects in the movement say rises in the northeast and sets in the northwest, but they travel very little distance, appear distance very little, but time taken will be the same. So how to track those objects? For that we use such equatorial mount. So this is a telescope that basically is a 130 EQ, 130 mm aperture, and 650 mm is a focal length of this telescope. There are multiple brands available in the market. You can use any Celestron, Skywatcher or Meade. These are some international brands available in our market. And also there you can make your own telescope, you can grind your own aperture, and you can make your own telescope as well. So how this EQ mount works? So if you look here, this is, so first of all you have to how you will keep this object. So if you see this axis, you will find a degree here from 0 degree to 80 degree. So just let me show you that as well. So here you can increase or decrease the latitude as per your requirement. So this arrow you have to match with your latitude. So consider this axis, this line facing towards the North Pole. So you have to set this telescope in such a way that this line is facing towards North Pole and you have adjusted your latitude here. So this is how you will fix this telescope or equatorial mount towards the north side. So first of all, what you have done? You have matched your axis of the telescope which is parallel to the axis of Earth. So literally these two axes are parallel. And then when you point your telescope towards North Pole, now here there are two moments. I will show you the first moment of this telescope. So this moment, you will see, this is the moment which we called as a right ascension. So if you see here, you will read hours on this dial, and this is the right ascension of an object. Now here we are not tracking with altitude and azimuth, but we are tracking with a right ascension and declination of an object. So when sky is moving, so if consider this, you have pointed towards the North Pole, latitude is fixed, declination is fixed. So when you rotate this telescope in this way, if you have pointed towards the North Pole, ideally all the time in all this, even you can see the apparent tube movement is changing or tube position is changing, but from this eyepiece all the time pole star should be visible, because this axis is parallel with the Earth's axis and you are pointing towards North Pole star. So even if the position of this tube is changing, but still pole star should be visible through the eyepiece. But what will happen if you focus any object apart from North Pole or North Pole star? So say you point like this here. So anything rises in the east and it will travel through the sky from eastern to western horizon. So at that time you can literally track that object. Now you can see, so from there in this, say it is eastern horizon. So eastern horizon, it is pointing towards the down. So you are tracking the object as soon as it is getting rise. So it will rise in the sky, and with this right ascension you are now traveling. So that object is traveling in the sky, and from here you are observing that object like this. And then you have to change this position here and you will put this on that side and will track that object till it set. So this facility, now we have seen the working of right ascension, and there is one more knob of declination. So I told you, see, this is one moment. So this moment is right ascension, and if when you want to change the declination, you can use this horizontal movement. See, this is a horizontal movement. Actually this is not a horizontal movement. With this you can change the altitude. So if you want to point a zenith, how you will point the zenith? See here. Now in this position you are pointing an object which is right on your head, on the zenith, and then you can track that object using the right ascension. So say this is declination. Now I have fixed the right ascension knob, so I am not able to move this. You just keep eye on this wedge. It is not moving. So this is moving around its axis. So here it is a declination. You can change the declination as from top to or the altitude. So with this knob we are changing the declination, and with this knob you are changing the right ascension. So there are small things like you can see this slew. So when you can use this, let me show you. So once you point your object, at that time using these screws, the moment is very high. So you can see this is a very big movement. Star will disappear from your field of view. So once you have object in your field of view, then you can use this. You can see there is a very, this is called as slewing screws, or a very small movement. Even you cannot notice this movement, but as you go on moving it, it is slowly tracking the object. So if you can notice, as I am moving, the telescope is changing its position slowly. So using this slew movement, now we can track the object throughout the night. So this is how this telescope works, and there are some basic things of this equatorial mount. Like you can see here, this is a counterweight. So if I hold it like this here, the weight of this tube and weight of these two wedges are almost equal, and we have balanced this. So if I hold it like this, you will see, consider this as a balance. This telescope, this position is not moving either in this side or in this side. Why? Because this is called as a counterweight. So if I change the position of counterweight, say I take here, now you will see it is going down. Why? Because the weight is more here. So our first job is to stabilize this weight balance. So at the time of setting this telescope or setting this equatorial mount, we have to change this position of counterweight and make the balance of tube and the counterweight. So whenever, see, equatorial mount is very good for observation during night time. So when you are out under starry sky and you don't want to waste the time on focusing or adjusting the object, like in alt-azimuth mount, every 2 minutes you have to shift your telescope up, right means or left, that is azimuth and altitude. So you need to follow that object all the time. But in equatorial mount, once you have object set in this eyepiece field of view, you just have to use the right ascension slewing screw, and that equatorial mount will track the object throughout the night. Even such kind of mounts are used for photographing the object for long exposure. Now this is a manual equatorial mount. We have motorized equatorial mount. So at that time, if it is a motorized equatorial mount, you don't have to do anything, just set the object, motor will track the object. So that's very simple. And there is one more type of, that is a computerized mounts, wherein all the data is fed in the computerized system, and you can just click on the object. First of all, you have to set or sync the telescope from where you are using. But later it is very simple that if you want to visit the Jupiter planet, just you will get a keypad, a remote kind of thing. Just enter the Jupiter, telescope will automatically point towards the Jupiter, and then it will track the Jupiter. Those kind of mounts, basically they are on fork type of mount, and they are computerized mounts. They are very much expensive, and no need to go for computerized mount. Initially you can try with alt-azimuth and equatorial mount. You will find very, but remember, you should have lot of patience, because astronomy is not that you just go outside, peep through this and you will see a bigger Saturn with ring. This will never happen. The largest aperture telescope, still you will see the image of any planet very tiny, means I can say the half of the nail size. Some people have fascination or imagination that when I use the telescope, planets will look like this much bigger. Never. Planets will look smaller, very smaller, tiny, but with their specifications and features. So as you increase the aperture and magnification, planet looks, their characteristics or the features of the planets, they appear good in the image. So even if you are observing through this, say you are looking at an Andromeda, as you see on the internet, Andromeda galaxy, colorful and beautiful picture. But when you observe Andromeda through this telescope, you will just look like a fuzzy white ball. So people will say, what is this? What I am seeing? just a kind of fuzzy ball, and for that I have spent this much of amount and this much of time. So then you have to leave the astronomy. If you are really passionate about astronomy and passionate or curious about to know the objects in the universe, you should spend lot and lot of time. See, amateur astronomers many a times spend their whole life to observe the complete universe, and how the growth in astronomy has happened is the main contribution is from amateur astronomers. When I say word amateur astronomers, means the astronomer who have their own telescope and they are observing from their backyard at home. So you need not to have any kind of thing, just you work whole day with your regular routine work, and during night time you can start observing night sky, you can record your observations, you can contribute your observations into international research papers. So there are many opportunities. Even if you have a small telescope, you can observe eclipse, you can observe transit, you can observe occultation, you can observe various things using a small telescope. Still you can contribute in the higher international research. That is the beauty of astronomy. Means you really don't have to go to anywhere, just you need a night sky with less light pollution. If you have this facility and a small instrument, then age and place is no bar. You can be connected with anyone around the world. So this is how this equatorial mount work. Now we will be making a small refractor telescope, and you will use that telescope to see terrestrial objects during daytime and night sky object during night time. But remember, you have to have a good patience. I repeat again, because if you point telescope towards any object, first of all you may get disappointed, because I said earlier, imagination. Objects will look very small, but their features will look more. Like you see moon with naked eyes, you will not see craters and mountains on the moon. But when the same moon you will look through a small telescope, even a small telescope which you are making, you can see the features of the surface of the moon, like craters and mountains on the moon. So that is the beauty of telescope. You are observing an object which is at distance and magnified. So let's make our own small telescope. It's time to make telescope. So you need to have a screwdriver and Fevikwik from your side, which is not given in the kit. Rest everything is given to make telescope. So first of all, we will see such you have 3 tripod pipe. Basically these are legs of the tripod. Then a lens holder, 2 cylinder, a connector to join these 2 cylinders, focuser with eyepiece, a plastic strip, a piece of foam, tripod legs connector, a nut bolt, and one more connector. And very important, in this we have a lens, which is the main part of telescope. So let us begin and see how to make this telescope step by step. This material is required to make main optical tube of this telescope. This is also a form of Galilean telescope or refractor telescope. Basically you have this lens as object lens in or primary lens in refractor telescope. So what all we have, this is a focuser with eyepiece. So now I will remove this rubber band. Here you will see a eyepiece. Don't take it out. This is focusing knob. Then you have these 2 cylinders and a connector. A lens, don't hold lens in the middle, otherwise you have to clean it again and again, and a taper ring. So first of all, we will connect these 2 cylinders using this connector. So insert it like this. It is very simple. and connect these two cylinders like this. After this, if you see this glass from one side, or this lens is one side bulgy, it's a convex shape, and other side is plane. So on plane side, keep this paper and this bulgy part. So if you see this ring carefully, this is a lens holder. At one side, it is curvy side, which is a front part. So towards front, you will put the bulgy part like this. So put it here like this, and then you will keep this pipe onto it and do it gently. So make sure that it fits properly, and from the front side you will look like this. So this is the joining of two cylinders with connector and putting a front lens with a black ring, and then finally you will insert this through this. So if it is not going inside easily, there is one more way. You can remove it like this and put it in this way. Once this is ready, you will stick this joint using a black tape in your kit. So remove this paper and put it here on a joint. And also there is a possibility, if you have to open this and this paper, this tape is of no use afterwards, you can use any electrician tape from your house. So this is the final telescope tube. This we will call as an object lens, and this we called as an eyepiece, and this is focusing knob to focus the object. Remember, whichever object you see through this telescope, you will see an image inverted, upside down. Now we will make a tripod. To make a tripod, we need these three things. So first of all, we will see how to fix this. So once you open this, take out this nut and washer. This bolt is inbuilt in mold. So this is three legs of the tripod, and this is press fit on this. So if you see this hole here, you have to insert this from the top, but don't just keep it, otherwise it will be loose here. So you have to match the hole and press it. It is a press fit assembly. So once you press it, you will see this is not falling down, and you can use this press fit assembly to move the telescope. Basically this is a altazimuth mount, and then from the bottom put the washer and a nut and tight it. Don't tight it too much, because we need this horizontal movement of this telescope using this tripod or mount. Then we need to fix these pipes here on this. So for that, just apply a Fevikwik here from all the sides and insert this pipe, steel pipe. Similarly, do it for all three using Fevikwik. So this will be fixed and your tripod is ready. Now we will see how to connect tube and tripod. So it's time to connect tube and tripod. You will see a black foam strip, a plastic connector or strip, and a nut bolt. So just remove this nut from the bolt. Place this black foam from the inside of this plastic strip, you will find two holes, but here you will find a groove to put the nut here like this. So you will find this groove on one side only, this side there is no groove to put the nut. So remember this thing, and now just put this around the tube and take a bolt. From one side you will insert the bolt. Now here how, from which side you need to put the telescope is very important. See, if you see this tripod carefully, this is the projection coming outside this way. This is the angled one. So when you are putting this tube, your focuser should be on this side. See the orientation. If you put telescope in this way here, telescope cannot go beyond because of this angle. So when this angle is in this direction, your focuser should be on the same side. In that way, just insert this bolt. So I am inserting this bolt, but remember you will insert it. So now you have to see groove is from which side. So if groove is from this side, from my side, I will insert this nut firstly from the tube, this strip. So you have to tighten it like this. It will go inside, then it will pass through the hole. So pass through the hole like this, and then insert this another side and put the nut. Now you don't have to tighten it in the first thing, because you need to adjust the counterbalance. So if you see this is falling this side, so you will put it further so that it will get balanced, and after that you will tighten this nut. So now our telescope is ready. You will see this is not falling freely, this movement we have, and also this horizontal movement. So we are using this to change the altitude, and we are changing this horizontal movement to change the azimuth. Now how to observe is very simple. Try to focus on any object. You will peep through this, and at the same time you will handle this focuser back and forth until the object get focused. Don't try to see things which are very close to you. Basically, telescope is used to see the objects which are at distance. So you can start with the daytime object like building, tree or any tower, and during night time you can start with moon, then bright stars or bright planets. So happy exploring the sky, and handle this telescope very carefully. And once it is used, you can keep it like this in any bag. You can create your own bag to keep this telescope intact. So happy exploring the night sky using a telescope. Thank you.